Hi, I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. Welcome to Connections After Hours. Whether you're here with us on Zoom, joining live on Facebook, or watching later on YouTube, I'm so grateful you're part of this heart-centered space for women who are making a difference in the world. Tonight, we're joined by someone who embodies that spirit, and that's Andrea Hylen. Andrea believes deeply in the power of our voices to bring about a new world. She's the founder of Heal My Voice and the Incubator, an online co-working space that supports women with writing, creativity, and coaching. She's also the author of Heal My Voice, An Evolutionary Woman's Journey, and 14 other inspiring books. Through her work, she's guided hundreds of women and men to share stories of trauma, loss, and grief, heal old wounds, reclaim their inner authority, and step into greater leadership in their lives. You can learn more about Andrea's current offerings, including her ancestral lineage healing work, at andreahylen.com. Andrea is not only a powerful teacher and guide, but also a cherished friend of mine and a true supporter of the On Purpose Women Global Community. And today is her birthday, her 69th birthday. So, Andrea, thank you for sharing part of your day with us here. And we can't wait to hear your talk on simple rituals for connecting with writing, creativity, and your ancestors. The screen is yours.
Mm. Thank you so much, Jenny. And thank you to all my friends and colleagues who came to the meeting this evening. It is my 69th birthday. And when I saw that there was a speaker opening for tonight, I had the inspiration to gather with you to talk about simple rituals, including celebrating our birthdays. So, for anyone who's here, if you haven't grabbed a candle and matches or a lighter, and anyone who's on Facebook Live, or if you're listening to the recording, at the very end, I will do a very simple ritual around celebrating all of our birthdays for this year. So, I'm going to start by just sharing a few thoughts about ritual and then share a story about different ways to weave ritual into writing, creativity, and honoring your ancestors. And like I said, we'll also do this birthday ritual at the end. So grab a candle and then join me to celebrate your life. All right, I describe a ritual as a type of ceremony that involves specific steps with an intention and a certain level of reverence. And reverence doesn't have to be serious, even though sometimes it is. But I use the word reverence as a way of describing focused attention, bringing your attention to something. Some of the traditions that have been passed from generation to generation or culture to culture in your family groups are rituals. So think about how you celebrate a new baby, a child, or a fur baby coming to live with your family. Or how do you celebrate a birthday or an anniversary? The traditions involve ritual. So, for example, a cupcake with a candle and lighting the candle, making a wish, blowing out the candle is a ritual. You're bringing your attention to this moment of making a wish on the day that you were born. And think about how you are here because your ancestors figured out ways for generations how to keep the lineage going, how to support each other through hardships, challenges, and joy. Rituals are a way to deepen the connection with what I call the unseen world. This can include nature spirits, ancestors, guides, angels, and ideas. So when you're writing and creating and dreaming, you are tapping into a different realm. Rituals offer us a connection and a way to honor the unseen as well as connect to the blessings, gifts, and talents from our ancestors. Rituals can help you unravel burdens while inviting more blessings, gifts, and talents from your lineages. And whether you are writing, meditating, painting, connecting with guides or ancestors, you are moving in and out of different realms, the world of the physical and the world of spirit, the seen and the unseen worlds. So, something to think about with a ritual is that before engaging in any kind of ritual, establishing safety and protection measures is important. Not out of fear, but out of respect for the power present in this liminal, unseen world. Like, respect the vastness of the different realms that are around us. Most of us were not taught how to navigate a connection with the unseen realm when we were children. However, if you've ever attended a religious or spiritual ceremony, you've likely seen a ritual to set boundaries. It often includes candles, incense, musical instruments, song, prayer, or chanting, typically at the beginning and the end. Like that is creating ritual safety and protection with the unseen spirit world. And in this moment, I'm having this realization that like we teach our children to not just go into anyone's houses, that there's a boundary, that's someone, and yet we aren't really taught that about nature. We're not really taught that, okay, let's ask that tree if we can pick that fruit. Like even just having a moment, pausing and realizing there's like living beings, living things. So we are, the more that we talk about things like this, I feel like we're normalizing consent and reverence for all living things. So, to me, the basic ritual safety that I use is to begin with a practice of calling on a trusted guide. This could be an angel, a deity, land spirit, God, goddess, all that is, universal intelligence, and then ask them to clear the energetic space around you, ask them to set up a boundary for ritual practice. Okay, so we'll get back to that in just a minute when we do the ritual, but I'd like to share a story about writing. Back in 2010, I was living in Burbank, California, and for over a year, every morning, I walked to a coffee shop called Priscilla's, where I would write from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. I had a morning ritual of waking up at 5:30 a.m., saying a short prayer to Archangel Michael. That was my protector guide who I connected with, Archangel Michael. And then I would meditate for 5 minutes. I would write in my journal for 5 minutes, and I would do Tai Chi for 5 minutes. Then I'd throw on some clothes and I would go on this 10-minute walk to Priscilla's with my computer and bag. And so I would arrive at 6 a.m. when they were opening. I'd order a cup of coffee, sit at the corner table. I would put on my headphones, listen to Jason Mraz singing Make It Mine, and then I would write. That was a creativity ritual for writing. I had these practices. It was intentional. It was preparing me. And at one point, the ideas for writing began to speak to me during the 10-minute walk. So I would stop and get out my phone and put them on voice notes. So I would remember what were these downloads of information that were already coming to me. As I continued, I started writing, and in 2 months, I wrote 70 articles on grief. A few months later, I was awakened in the middle of the night. A voice spoke to me saying, get on the radio. And through communication, figured out, okay, I'll get on a Blog Talk radio show. And for 44 days, I talked about grief and transformation with 27 guests over the holidays in 2010. That led to another voice speaking to me when I was on a walk one day that said, heal my voice. And that became the nonprofit where women started writing stories of trauma, loss, and grief, and then speaking on the radio and reclaiming power that was tied up in that story. So the writing ritual create a container that held a space to connect with my voice and tap into this unseen realm. During that time, I was also cultivating a relationship with the land. There was a mountain that I walked towards every day on my way to the coffee shop that I would say good morning to. And that mountain, actually, on the other side, is where the Hollywood sign is in California. Not from my side, but on the other side. And every morning I'd say good morning, and then I just really felt the support and presence of that mountain. And on days when I had doubts about what I was doing or why was I doing this, I just had the relationship with the mountain, felt the land spirits holding me there. And then I also walked around neighborhoods with elaborate gardens and trees every afternoon for an hour or two. Again, feeling the reverence and connection with the land, being intentional about the relationships. So, in both of those practices, I set intention with rituals. Writing at the same time eat every day with the same song, the same beverage, the same ritual preparation. Saying good morning to the mountain, the trees, hummingbirds, flowers, and plants, wanting that connection. So, having that intention. And, I'll just say also that something has really become very clear to me in the past few years of how present, ever since I really got into building a relationship with my ancestors through spirit, is how present they are in my writing and creating. And I really became aware of it this year while holding ancestor circles with some of my clients who are doing ancestral lineage work. My ancestors speak to me now about specific writing projects with ideas and answers. Matter of fact, it was one of my lineages who told me to write about the heroine's journey this year for the Incubator. They told me that last March. And every time I've connected with them throughout the year, they've given me another piece of it, like how to do that. So we have the power in ritual to develop these connections with the spirit world. So, creating a structure with intention that supports your writing and creativity will also help you connect with ancestors, guides, angels, deities, land spirits. It's infinite who is in the spirit world. Okay, I'm going to shift gears and talk a little bit about intention and birthday rituals, and then we'll do our birthday ritual. One of the things I want to talk about is simplicity. That even though the story I told you in Burbank, maybe that seemed like a lot of details, but it really didn't take that long. That's why I wanted you to know it was 5 minutes of writing, 5 minutes of meditating. It wasn't like hours to get prepared for this, it was a short amount of time. So, with birthdays, at some point in my 20s, I began a ritual of setting an intention for things that were important for the next year. And I know that we were talking about that in the breakout room too, that the way that I came up with it was I would think about, like, a few days before my birthday, I make a list of a few things I want to anchor in for the year. Um, okay. Uh, we've got nice voices here. Happy birthday voices that are coming through. Um, oh, that's cute. So, okay, so I would come up with a few things, and actually I pass this on to my daughters where it's like, what's really important to you this year? Well, there are always a lot of things that are important to me. Writing, my business, travel, friends, family, children, grandchildren, love relationships, things I want to clear, things I want to let go of. I've got a million ideas every year. But a few days before my birthday, I'll say, what are two or three things I really want to reset this year? And then I will make a gesture on my birthday that anchors that in. So, like, let's say I want to start walking. And all that the gesture is put on the sneakers, and walk out the front door. Okay, I'm telling myself this year I'm going to be doing more of this walking. It isn't about having a long list, a long to-do list that includes everything about my year. It's just tuning in to what is really a priority for this year. So, for example, for my birthday today, I focused on body movement with joy and cultivating a relationship with my inner world as two things that I want to really prioritize this year. So, the gestures that I did throughout the day, one was dancing. So I turned on Opalite by Taylor Swift, Rise Again by Lyra, and Pink Pony Club by Chappelle Roan to just bring joy and laughter and feel good music. At one point, I stretched for 5 minutes. I was like, I want to stretch more. So I just did it for 5 minutes. And then I decided to start a gentle 30-day liver detox with Shaklee supplements, which are very easy and it's very gentle. And I mean, it was like taking a couple of extra pills with my vitamins this morning. I meditated for 15 minutes, wrote one page in a journal, and I did a tarot card reading. And then I haven't even finished writing down the tarot cards yet, but I'll do that before I go to bed. So just saying to myself, body movement with joy and cultivating a relationship with my inner world is a priority this year. And here are the gestures that I made today as a good faith investment in myself. I don't know, those words are just what's coming through. So I anchored my intentions for the next year. And this feels like a really significant birthday for me because I feel like I'm anticipating my 70s with joy already. And I am going to keep cultivating that throughout this year by looking back at what have the 60s been like for me? And where have yeah, I'm not even going to put other words to that. It's like, what happened during my 60s? And write about that. And then to anticipate things that I can bring into my life in my 70s. So that's why it felt significant to be here with you all tonight. All right, now we're going to take a few minutes and do a very simple birthday ritual together. And if you have your candle, um, you can light it. If it's already lit, just take a moment to like have a moment of reverence with the candle. Like know that this candle is it's lit for a celebration of your life, your birth. And that's a simple way to bring in some intention around it, to be conscious with it. So then feel free to close your eyes or keep them open for the first part of this ritual. Take a breath. Feel yourself connected to your body, connected to the earth, and connected to what I will call your soul. There's a soul chakra right above your head that has the blueprint of your life. It's like your astrology, your human design, your ancestral, this blueprint of you. And then call on a trusted guide. And this can, again, this can be an angel, a deity, a land spirit, a goddess, god goddess, all that is. So just notice who comes forward and call on them, trusting that even if you're not feeling them, that they're with you. Ask them to clear the space around you and set up some boundaries for ritual safety. So I want you to imagine that all time is happening at the same time. And although our human minds might say today is October 8th, I want you to imagine that today is your birthday. So just feel into the day. This can either be last year or the birthday that's coming up, whatever feels good to you. So imagine that today is your birthday and imagine that date in your mind. And knowing that today is your birthday, I want you to think about one or two things that you want to anchor in or to reset or recommit to for your birthday year. And then I want you to think about a simple gesture that you could do to make that commitment to yourself. You say, "Oh, this is what it looks like, I want to write in my journal every year." Well, maybe the gesture is to write one sentence today. Just think about a simple way that you could do it and a simple way to anchor it in. And just for a moment, just imagine that you are doing that, whatever that gesture is. So I want you to open your eyes now and look at your candle or hold it, depending on the size. And, if you want to hold your candle, you can hold that up. But this is like, just take a moment to feel your intention for your birthday this year. And then this is like making a wish. All right, so looking at your candle with your eyes open, I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1, and we'll all blow our candles out together and make our wish. So it's like I'm making a wish for me and I'm making a wish for you all at the same time. Okay, 3, 2, 1, blow. So remember that rituals can be simple. They don't have to take a long time. They can be things like lighting a candle and saying good morning to your trusted guides, your vibrantly well ancestors, as a way to honor them in the morning, to just say good morning. A ritual can be the liquid you drink first thing. Maybe you put water in a glass and you hold it and you just focus on the word love, putting that into the water and then drinking love into your body. A ritual can be repeating a moment of intention, a moment of connection. And whatever gesture you imagined yourself doing to anchor in an intention, just commit to doing that within the next 24 hours. A simple gesture that says, I'm committing to this for myself. Ritual is a form of intention, attention, connection with yourself and others. Thank you all for being here. And I just want to say to all of you, happy birthday!
Thank you, Andrea, so much. And I want to ask everyone who's here with us on Zoom to unmute yourselves so we can applaud and say happy birthday to Andrea and to all of us. So let's hear it, everybody. Unmute and shout your stuff out.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday. Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Hey,
Happy birthday.
Recordings. I'm going to take this moment just to say thank you, Andrea. That was wonderful. I love that. And it was so simple. It was so simple.
Yeah.
Not always easy for me, but simple. And so I'm excited to anchor some of those things in for this year. To everyone who's joined us live or caught the replay, thank you for being part of this vibrant, supportive, and purpose-filled community. You're the reason we keep showing up to create spaces like this, where women connect, grow, and lift each other higher. If you'd like to be part of future gatherings, whether on Zoom or in person, or explore On Purpose Woman magazine, visit opwgc.com. You'll find inspiration, connection, and opportunities to shine your light with the world. And that information is in the text of this video as well, as is Andrea's contact information. So until next time, stay inspired, stay authentic, and most of all, stay connected. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Good night.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I just have to now figure out how to leave.